Vegas. I'm James. This is Morpheus. We will start how I've started this class. We always need help on, I don't know how long. 20 years? 20-ish years. I haven't always taught this class. I mean, I don't teach this class every time, but I've taught it probably 15-ish times. And what we'll do is I like to know, especially with this number of people, because usually I get stuck with like 25 motherfuckers, and I don't really have like a ton of ego in it anymore. One, there's not a lot of students here this year, but two, like I don't really care for those big old classes, because when there's this number of people, it gives me a lot of opportunity to work specifically on you. And by that I mean, like, I can understand what you're bringing into the class, because there's only 6 of you and we have like an hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever we got, and I can understand what you're bringing and help you fit the pieces that I have, that Morpheus has. We can help you fit extra things in to take home and to really add into your game. And that's where the real benefit comes from. Like, I can lecture at you for 2 hours, he can lecture at you for 2 hours, and that's useful. Or we can add pieces into your game, and that's way more useful. Anyway, we'll get to that. So, we'll start over here. What we're looking for is where you're from, your name. You can do Ape Card or real, I don't really give a shit. And then, like, at least one thing you're hoping to learn from this class. And not, I want to get better. That's not helpful. Like, you think it through, give a helpful answer so they can really help you improve on your sword. Alright?
Yep. I'm Mjolnir. I'm quite out of the Bay Area. And I have a really strong dark side that I'm very happy with. I can't really throw money either. I can kind of go from stationary, but I really, especially, I know a lot of known boards do a lot of the board stuff, and somehow it hasn't clicked. So that's what I'd like to learn.
Okay. We will definitely talk about that. There are a bunch of different ways to throw a sword type hit. Not all sword type hit is money, first of all. So we'll talk about the differences. Every money. We'll get to that for sure, because there are different ways to throw that shot. A lot of different setups. He and I are both very good at that particular shot, so yeah.
What's supposed to be, whatever I'm doing now.
I will tell you that they used to like have this thing where they call things like basic and advanced, and I never liked that, because to be basic is advanced. If you talk to, I coach basketball too, and if you talk to people that are like very good athletes, like the top level athletes, and I've actually gotten to talk to some very good D1 athletes and even some professional athletes, and they will tell you why they are good is because they spend a ton of time being very good at the fundamentals. And that's when people are always coming to be like, oh, teach me the 5-1-2, oh, teach me the one love, oh, teach me the crazy horse. And I'm like, yes, but, like, yeah, I can teach you all those things, but there's a lot to get to before that matters. That's built on levels and levels and levels and levels of solid foundational work that needs to come first before you even really worry about that. Like, and really, those shots are good to teach you fundamentals. Like, I really focus on spins because to have good spins, you have to have good fundamental flow. Anyway, go ahead.
I'm Mac. I play at a Golden Vale in New Hampshire, and I'd really like to work on my dark sides and lateral movement.
Dark sides and lateral movement. Okay.
I'm Bobby. I fight from right here, and I just want to throw safer shots from behind my shield, because I keep getting murked on a shot. So I keep throwing a shot and then I die to
get killed on your opener. So you need to throw safer openers.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about that.
Oh gosh.
My name is Segway from South Texas, and I'm wanting to learn how to overall experience of how to deal with like certain situations when you're playing this?
It's kind of new to me. That's one thing I forgot to ask. So how long have you been playing? 6 months? 6 months? 6 months, okay. Yeah, that's very new. How long have you been playing?
I've been playing Jugger for 5, with Bell and Amp for about a year and a half.
Okay. How long?
Little deck amped for about 17 years.
Okay.
Amp guard 15 years.
13 years, okay.
Less than 10, but more than 5.
Okay. And you're 6 months. All right, your turn.
I'm Telfair. I'm from Albion. I've been fighting for 8 years, and I'm looking to. I get caught in the grind, throwing continuously, and I need to learn how to change my pacing in a grind and not just throw what I consider the obvious next shot. Be that a fake or be that a timing change, something to change continuous grind.
Okay. All right. Got it.
Jais, I'm from Rockford, Illinois. I've been fighting about 5 years. I'm interested in hearing your approach to the board, because everyone's approach is different.
Jais.
Yep.
How many of my classes have you taken exactly?
3, I think.
3? Okay. Okay. You don't think you have the record yet, but you're getting close to it. All right. Okay. We'll do one more question thing, and then we'll get right into it because it's kind of cold. So I want to see you guys mix it up a bit, and then we will have ideas of what you do. You'll tell me what you do, and it'll be interesting because you'll tell me what you believe you do, and you won't understand what you actually do. But when I see it, I'll know what you actually do. So that'll be better. But what is it that you think your favorite shot is, and what do you generally open with? That's the question that we need now. So we'll start this time over here. You got your favorite shot too. Oh, one more too. What do you usually get killed by?
I get killed by.
Yeah.
Okay. So a lot of times I like that safe cross as an opener.
That's not safe, but okay.
I mean, but
Still not safe, but okay.
and I think I have a lot of my best success crossing on people. I try to work on board side more, but I don't think I quite have it.
Okay. All right. And you usually die to.
So it's like shoulder because my shield goes down.
And that's because of that opener that you just told me was safe and isn't. But anyway, we'll get to it.
Most common favorite kill is throw straight onto the shield side shoulder. Common death is hip.
Yes. Probably because of that opener.
They could be related.
Yes. We're already getting somewhere, class. I love this. Go ahead.
High cross. That's the best one, I think. And I get.
How many about you later get to quick damage?
Is it like the shot you throw that gets you killed, or is it like overall like the area?
No, what do you die to the most? So I'm just trying to understand, but a lot of times it's already clear to me and clear to you guys as you're thinking it through, like we haven't even made it through the line yet, that your openers are getting you killed when you think about it. But go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's this part. Same.
Yeah, yeah. Like, we're already starting to understand. One question leads to the other, and when you're putting it together, like you're already figuring out my own voodoo, right? Like, which is good. That's the point. Go ahead.
I generally open to their sword, tie up sword, and trying to throw a follow from there. And then I die to the shoulder.
Or shoulder, yeah. Go ahead.
I want to say that my favorite's kind of the same. Just like opening up for their hand, just feeling out range. But that's just like kind of like the open. My favorite shot's probably to the hip, wherever the hip is over here. And I probably die just to getting armed.
Yes.
Like shoulder chops, shoulder ramps. I died a lot of hips.
Fight short foot forward, don't you?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
It's the whole line thinking. I feel like I don't have a set. I mean, I do throw like a 1-2 a lot. It's probably like if I'm fighting somebody I've never fought before. We usually very rarely do that against somebody I've fought before. They expect them coming. I feel like I'm usually trying to like footwork people and see kind of how they're reacting to what I'm doing, and then I'll counter or them. And I don't counter fight, but usually I'm trying to just see how they react to what I'm doing, and then based off of there, I feel like I die to this hip quite a bit. I don't know if that's where I die the most or to my back.
Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and mix it up. It's still cold, so you guys go ahead and partner up. Partner up and mix it up a bit. I could lecture, but I don't think that would be fun for y'all because it's so
I thought it was usually
I'll complain on the album.
just
yeah, we just want to kind of get it out. We'll watch. Switch off a little bit. Switching in out. Yeah, switching out.
Right across my head.
Good one. No. Okay. Good, good, good. Yeah, go ahead. That guy's
I'm gonna camp in this spot.
Oh, baseline! That's a basketball coach. Baseline!
not doing a down back. Go ahead.
Oh, we can run down a back.
Oh, no.
I ran down the basketball players. They're like, I said, don't let me beat nobody now.
Yeah,
they're like, Amari, don't let coach beat you. All right, so there's a couple things I want to point out right away. But number one, there's an old saying. I don't know how many of y'all came up playing sports. I know he knows about knockback, so I know he plays sports. Defense wins championships, and y'all are very like not enough defense conscious. You're very much like, and this is the thing, and I knew when I was talking to you about your openers, like you're very aggressive in your conversation. And by that I mean, like, I want to push my opener out into the world, and I don't really care about maintaining my defense, maintaining my stance, maintaining my integrity of my stance and my defense, none of that. Like, I'm just gonna throw caution to the wind, and I'm going to throw even my safe, quote unquote, my safe opener, right? There's no thought behind, to me anyway, and if you do have thought, it's not a good one, right? If you do have thoughts, they're not good ones. They're not. Like, what you're throwing out there, no bueno. Like, you need to really be conscious of it. And it's not like it's a terrible thing. You're newer, some of you aren't, but like, every time that you leave your default stance, your defensive stance, it needs to be very deeply considered, right? Like, those of you who've gotten to fight me or have watched videos of me fight, watched him fight, like, when you see this, like, what are you gonna hit? There's not much to hit, right? When I decide to bring you any targets, right, to throw at anything, there's a lot of thought behind what I'm throwing at. There's a lot of thought behind how you're going to respond to that and where I'm going to go after that, and how you're going to respond to that and where I'm going to go after that. Like, there's thought behind all of that. Beyond that, there's thought behind where my feet are going to go and where your feet are probably going to go and how I'm going to respond to that. And I saw not much of any of that behind what you guys were doing, right? I mean, you guys can tell me I'm wrong, but I know I'm not, because I saw you not doing any of that, right? Like, just watching, and I told him, you're very static in how you address each other, right? Like, defense starts where, do you think? Where do you think defense starts in sword and board? With what? With your feet, right? And you guys are like, I call it Street Fighter. I mean, it might be a little old for some of y'all, but like, they move like this, back and forth, right? Here we go, we're fighting now, and there's no lateral movement at all, right? And you can block so many things just by moving laterally, right? Because the minute I start having to do these kind of things, or even like I used to teach, if you watch some of my old SKBC videos, I used to teach like the gangster lean, which was not bad. It wasn't a terrible thing, but I would lean to catch like a lot of good blocks, and it was okay. But I don't teach that anymore, because it's so much better just to step in directions. Because once I lean, what happens? That hip becomes open, right? Like, but if I step, that hip is not only is the hip not open, that shoulder's still protected. Like, I don't have to move my static defense at all. So they haven't gained anything. If someone feints at me and my response is to take a step, their feint hasn't accomplished anything. Do you understand what I'm saying? But if I lean, their feint has accomplished something, right? So you have to start understanding that and answer their openers to the conversation with your feet, right? And when you decide to throw shots too, some of you, like if I'm addressing him, and we're gonna have a conversation, right? Which is what I call fights, because it is like I throw an opening part of the discussion, right? Opening move, right? And then you guys do this. You might take one step, and then you're like, and that's it. The conversation has started. We're gonna have a dance, but we're only gonna move once, and then we're dancing. Like, that's all y'all would do, and then it's like we're gonna spray and pray. If any of y'all play video games, right? And we're gonna hope, even though our friend's not here, tell her I said hello, right? Like, we're gonna hope that it works, and hope is not a strategy. It's not how we fight. We need to move. So look, here now, we have two. Now the whole situation is changed. One, all kinds of stuff happened over here. My defense is great. He's in a very bad compromise position. And all I did was take one extra step. You understand? My defense is great. He's compromised, and all I did was take one extra step. You understand the power of... Someone's up there right now teaching a footwork class, and they're probably not talking about this, but this is the most important part of it. It's not jump ropes and jumping up and down and running on ladders and all that crap. That stuff is important, yes, but this is the... Sorry for cussing. This is the fucking key to fighting right here. These small movements this small little bit of space makes all the difference. Me and him fought early. Me and you fought early. I think. No. Yeah, like with this kind of movement right here, with this little bit of space, you're talking about the grind. Being in, this is the answer to your thing. These tiny little, like the fights we had earlier, like the tiny little bit of movement inside, we're in this space, and I'm like, I end up here, and you're like, step out here, foot outside the board. If I'm here, right, if my foot's right here, and I throw at him, I'm not getting it. Like, I can't. You can start doing garbage. Someone asked me earlier, how do you throw a flat round? And my answer was, I don't. And they're like, what? And I'm like, I don't throw that shot. It's a garbage shot. Sorry. It's like reaching high and trying to get over. Like, it exposes you, right? It's a bad open. So instead, if I get my foot here, now what? Okay? And he's not going to let me do that. He senses my foot's there, right? So now we're talking about sword side hip, right? Y'all want a better sword side hip. We're fixing two problems at once right now. Starting where? With what? With our feet. Step out here, right? Boom. What are you going to do? You just let me... We solved two problems at once. You want a sword side hip, right? You wanted a better high side, right? We wanted to get some board side work, and we wanted better defense. Now we've solved three things, right? This is protected. Our sword side hip is still protected. Boom. And our opener's better, right? Because now we can make it a combo, right? Here, here, here. If he blocks it and we keep moving, everything stays tight, right? Like, I can't do it so well anymore because I can't move as well as I used to with my injuries, but you have to start moving more in the cut, in the grind. Your feet have to move more. You can't just give people what they want in that space. Both for defense and for offense. So you want better sword side hips, get your foot outside of your shield. Like, I can sit here and tell you, do this and do this. Yes, you have to turn your hand, but the most important key is, where's your foot in relation to the shield? It really is. Like, people overcomplicate it. Well, you can go over how that shot works 100%. All I do is bring the harder one. It looks but really, get your foot in the right place in that one. Everything starts with where your foot is when you start to do it. Got it? So, all of that to say, focus on your feet first, right? Focus on your lateral movement first. Put your gear in good places. Or how much did I move my gear when we fought? None. Right. Because you shouldn't have to move it that way, right? Punch shield's a little more, right? It's a different kind of piece of equipment. So you move it a little bit more. That's kind of the point to it. But even that, I wouldn't move it a ton. Like we're in this space now. One last point, and Morpheus. Optimize how you throw your sword, right? Like, too much motion with your sword is bad. When I said this all was too much, and then I showed you how to fix that with your feet, okay? This is about how I usually try to keep my elbows this close, right? Like, I try to keep my elbow this close to my body. And I don't extend it that much further from here, because people arm snipe all the damn time. The damn meta of the game right now is people arm sniping people. Like, all they try to do is hit you in the arm. That's like what they do. You tap swords, you go here, and I can almost guarantee you, like, I throw at them and they're going to try to snipe my arm automatically. That's what they want. So you know that's what they're going to try to do. So why on earth would you throw anything like this? Because they're going to try to snipe your arm immediately, right? So the answer is keep it tight, okay? And then it's built into them to arm snipe. It's built into them to do that. So you just play off of it. You come here, tuck that elbow, arm snipe, come underneath. Because they're going to come back with their arm snipe. You just counter arm snipe, boom, and then even if you miss, you come back with another one to attack you, right? Right here, and then right back with another one to finish the kill. And how far from my shield did my hand go? It stayed right there. What's the answer? Like, it didn't go no far from my shield, right? again, I told you, we think about anytime we extend past our defense, why are we doing that if we don't have to? We don't. Everything is thought through and considered before we ever consider going past it. So, stance. I'm assuming that the basics class covered how stance is supposed to look, so I shouldn't have to cover anything, right? So y'all know that you're supposed to be here, your knees are supposed to be slightly bent, your board goes on your shoulder. I prefer to put my sword here where it's completely hidden. I do that so you don't know when it's coming. Like, just in case you're wondering, you got to fight me. Like, you don't know when it's coming out and where it's going. Also, you don't have very many good shots on me. Now, the danger to that is it does kind of leave this forearm a bit open if you're not careful. You block that with your feet. So if they do try to snipe at your forearm, you just kind of step, you can take it away. You also turn your wrist out of touch, you take it away, right? But you just have to be aware that that is a bit of a vulnerability for tucking your hand completely behind your shield like that. It's still going to be mostly blocked anyway, but
that's the difference. That's the biggest difference of that feet, as you said, this first line of defense. Shouldn't actually move you too much, because then you start moving your gear out of position on you, like a sniper. Now you're opening up yourself to other opportunities for points to take advantage, as opposed to just simply just a slow step. You notice you didn't take a big step or anything to try to like block that sometimes. Like snipers, just defense already at the top of the and like some little sniper whatever. That's gonna block right here. You don't have to do like this. Just side step, offline, just a little bit. That's all.
Yes, sir. Questions before we start going into how y'all can work on that, demonstrate it, hear each other a bit. Questions about that? And then we'll show you some shots. I know you wanted to see the shots, so we'll show you some. But really, like that part that we just talked about is more important than any shot I'll show you. And I'll show you the pretty ones. He'll show you the pretty ones. Like, we know how to do them, but that shit is more important than the pretty shots. Trust. The pretty shots are way less important than that stuff.
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
How do you like taking this home? What are some things you can do to practice like a little bit of footwork and things like that?
So there's a video on my YouTube channel that has like, if you have a pellet home, I use a punching bag, where I actually like put dots on the floor that are the exact steps. So you figure out your own shots. So like I did AK-47, and I think maybe I did a 5-way. I don't remember all the shots I did, but I actually put the dots where my feet need to go. And you have to figure out like your own, like your body's not my body, so you have to figure out like, this is how the shot looks when I throw it properly. Like my foot goes here, my foot goes here, and when I finish, my foot resets here. And so I literally put all the dots on the floor, and I would go here, 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 and then throw the shot over and over and over again. Foot, foot, foot. So you start building it. There's benefit to repetition. Athletes do that shit for a reason, so there's not no benefit to it. And since you can't find someone that'll fight you every single goddamn day like Perry and I did for a long, long time, then pills can't be useful. If you can't find someone to fight you every day, I don't care what anyone says. That's the best.
Yeah, any new player, they can do it.
That's better than a pellet.
That is absolutely better.
That's better than. Don't let anyone tell you.
Fight.
Yes, that's better than a pellet. Don't let anyone tell you, oh, if someone wants to fight you, that's better than a pellet. I'll fight someone more than I don't really fight anymore, but that's better than a pellet.
It eventually gets to a point, if they're just as hungry about this thing as you are, y'all both matching up on that, both traveling together, same event, same park, whatever. That's a sparring partner. You don't want to build each other up. And all of a sudden, y'all are real solid. Now y'all having pretty good fighting practices that look real good. Now everyone else will show up to them, right? So, yeah.
rehab experience.
Let's
So,
go. Yeah, you want that. You 100%. But that's your answer. Like, you can find it on my YouTube channel. But it's not that complicated, but that will show you how to do it. Just put the dots down, match the footwork for every shot. You want to practice it, just do it over and over again. Full shot. Have your gear in your hand. Every piece of it's got to be right. Practice doing it right. Do every piece right all the way through the end. Gear stays up. All the way through to where you're back to full defense at the end of the shot. The shot's not over until you're back to full defense at the very end. That's when you're done, not until that's done. So practice it correctly all the way till the end. That's what the focus is. So that's how you do it. Any other questions? So everyone understands. Again, I'm sure Aaron told y'all correctly, so I don't really want to harp on it. But make sure you feel that bounce. He talked about the bounce, right? And being on the balls of your feet. I didn't hear it all, so like feel it, right? He talked about that, yes? Did he push y'all?
No.
Oh my God. All right, we're going to talk about it for just a second. Let's talk about stance for just a second. It's all dudes in here, so I can push people and not have to be like, okay, I'm about to touch it. All right, look. Here's the thing. If you're like, just stand how you would normally stand. Okay? Take your fighting stance. We'll see how good y'all's fighting stance. Put your gear down. Take your fighting stance. Good? Good. Yeah, pretty soft. Fighting stance. Good.
Trouble.
Yeah, trouble, right? Problematic. Problematic, right? Yeah, not bad. Not bad. The problem is this, right? You guys are doing it. You gotta be able to like take the force, right? And give it back. Right? But if you get knocked off, then you're not centered enough. So the people who I could push over, your gravity's like off, you're not centered, right?
Come that way, so push me that way, I fall over.
Yeah, I shouldn't be able to push you anyway. I mean, I can push you from behind and it shouldn't matter. Like, you gotta be where you can take, boom, and give it back. And it's like an old martial arts trick, really, but even in our game, and if you play Bell or whatever, where they can knock your ass over if they want to, like, you really gotta be able to, like, take the force and give it back, because they might really try to knock you over, right? So, just make sure that you're 80, whatever, 50, 50, 60, 40 on your feet. You can boom, receive, come back through. And once you have that stance, then movement becomes much easier. If your weight's thrown off, then you can't move as easily, right? And if you're standing like way too tall, that's your problem. You gotta sit down a little bit, and then you'll be more comfortable. You can tell if you're too heavy because you'll feel the pressure in your knees. Your body will tell you not to do that shit. So don't do that. But get to where it is, and you'll feel that slight bounce. You can feel that, and then this movement becomes easy, right? You should be able to do that very quickly. I forget who it was. I don't think it was you, but someone on the field last year. I mean, I was fighting them, and I was making them go as fast as they could while fighting me, right?
I think that was
it
me.
Was you?
I think it
Okay.
was me.
Yeah, it's like, I'm 49 years old on Sunday. Last year was 48, right? And we're going like quick, right? You gotta be able to go quick in your stance, and if you can't, then it's not a good stance. Anyway, we've talked enough. Let's mix it up again some more, and let's see how we do. Sun's out, guns out. I have to take off the hoodie. Then we'll start adding some pieces. Remember, think about why you're throwing and what you're throwing. Move more. Switch it
Yeah.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay.
Get this arm in this leg.
Try for the head. It's okay.
Okay. Pull it.
I'll take it.
Good, good, good. Oh, it's okay. Sit up.
Oh, really? Oh, really? I thought it was... Sorry.
That was going to change a ton, and we haven't really like talked about great ideas for you to use, so I'm not super surprised that we haven't fixed that yet. We'll fix that with sword sight. But what did you see? Sounds lots of stuff we're still talking about sword sight.
There's definitely better movement. It's a better, like, let's say post-positional movement. Like after you throw your shot, you're in a better position. I saw more of that. But some of the shots that was coming in, a lot of them were still kind of ball in. It wasn't much. Like you said, it was more of an aggressive conversation as opposed to just having a back. But we'll talk about it.
Yeah. We're building, right? So we started where we need to start. Defense with the championships, defend with your feet. Your stance, talked about how you kind of need to fix it. I mean, he told you this whole thing, bring it back, bow and arrow, and I told you, all right, let's talk a bit about your shield. If you know someone could hit you over your board, right? Where does it need to be? Exactly. Your shield, it was too low. He's like, he's jacking you, right? So you can't let it, like a tall dude, you know it's got to come up here. I know, I told you that.
Yeah.
Okay. Just for the rest of y'all's reference, like, you need to understand when you're fighting people, like, I know my board needs to be like right here. In general, you'll see me even like fight, and I'll rub it on my face just so I know everything's in the right place, right? That's just a little ritual I have, so I know everything's good where it needs to be. And there's certain people I fight that I even bring it up a little bit higher, right? So I know, like, Draknar used to be able to hit me like over my board, and I'd bring it up like that much more, just so I'd make sure he couldn't. Basically, almost no one can hit me board side shoulder. That just doesn't happen. So, and I know to the inch exactly where it needs to be, so I make sure that doesn't happen. You need to get familiar with your gear and where it needs to sit, especially with the people you fight all the time, because amp guard, what you fight 90% of the time, maybe probably more than that, it's the same people all the time. So familiarize yourself with where everything needs to go, how to defend against them. That way you have the most fun. And then when you need to adjust for different people, most of the time their archetype will fit the new people that you're fighting. Oh, this person fights like X. I have to make slight adjustments, but they're mostly fit into what X does. Understand what I'm saying? Like, then you have these archetypes that you can build people. So that's just building up your database so you're ready for what is. All right. So sword side hip and safe openers, we can kind of cover both of those at once, which builds into fundamentals, which is what someone else wanted. Although we've already been really covering basics all the way through. I think that everything I do, if you ask me, is basic, except for like crazy spin shot stuff. And we may or may not have time to get to that, but let's just talk about just very simple sword side hip. Need a volunteer, I don't know. One more. Okay, so if I'm gonna go sword side hip on someone, the way you really hit anyone anywhere is to imply a threat somewhere else, right? And this is what people don't really understand. Implied threat is a very powerful tool. And in phone fighting, amp guard, bell, whatever, before anything else, it's a very mental game, right? If I tap swords with him, right? So we tap, boom, first thing I do is this. You feel pressure?
Not yet.
You don't feel any pressure?
Yeah, I mean, I moved, right?
Right? Yeah,
I shifted my...
Yeah, where'd you feel pressure? No, where'd you feel pressure? Yeah, board side. He felt pressure. I implied pressure immediately without doing anything except for taking a step forward, right? And my gear being up, my eyes were pretty much on his eyes, but kind of looking past his shoulder. I implied something, right? I started a conversation, like I like to call fights conversations, like I told y'all, right? Just by movement. I didn't even twitch my arm yet. I didn't even feint for anything yet, but I implied pressure, right? So you can just use that as a tool, right? We'll do it again, right? There. Now, see, we got a different reaction. I took a different step. I took a left step forward, okay, and look, now we have this, okay? We see something here, and the thing is, he's aware that that's there too. He knows what he did. The fact that he knows I've applied pressure there, and he knows that he moved his shield are two very powerful tools in our arsenal, right? We've applied pressure somewhere, he reacted to it. Those are two very powerful tools. Both of those things that I just showed you set us up for the next thing that happens, okay? We did that with a step and with a little bit of like presence. That's the best way I can describe it, right? My gear is high and I move my presence forward, but that's it. I haven't feinted at all yet. I haven't moved my gear into his space yet. I moved myself a little bit into space. I definitely moved my body forward in a direction. One was a little bit left, one was a little bit right a little bit off center. Well, I can even do it with my back foot watch here. All right, we just tap. Okay, another one. Okay, see? Now we have 3 different reactions based off of 3 different footwork. Remember how I told y'all footwork was important, right? Now we have 3 different reactions based off of 3 different footwork opens. We haven't done anything really except for moved our feet. But he's moved his shield and his feet 3 different ways based off of what we've done. Now you understand how you take control of a fight? You can do it going backwards too, by the way. All right, we tap swords. Now let him come at me. Okay, now look. Come on again. Okay, now what do we have? What do you think we have now? Yeah, let's go for pressure there. And I'm going backwards to use this pressure, right? We can think about this, right? But we're going backwards. So you have to learn how to apply pressure. It's better going forward. It's harder going backwards, but you can do it. It's better going forward. You can do it right off the top. You can kill someone in the first 2 or 3 seconds of the fight. Super fucking pimp. Like, you want to just throw down your gear and act like you're just a destroyer? This is it right here. Right? You tap, come here, and you just walk past it. Like, that's it. But you can do that 7 out of 10 times if you're fast enough and you apply the pressure the right way. You tap, you apply it, right? You might have to come down here, raise up one more time. Like, look, I brought my elbow in, I raised my hand up and my knee up. So it's like tap, apply, knee, hand, hip. Step. Step outside his board like I told y'all, right? But you have to apply pressure at the beginning. So everything starts off the tap and the footwork, the applied pressure, right? And it's all based on what do you think? What's my cue? What he does with the shield, right? The little inches that he moves the shield is what my cue is. So the mechanics outside of the mind games that we're playing with our feet and all that, right? Is that, boom. See how I shield move? This is the important part. This is what you have to understand. This. So all the time you're watching this, I do this, that happens. That's all you need to see. Once you see that, that tells you already that he's felt my presence. He feels the implied pressure this way. So then if you take a further step or a feint, like I go like this, you don't even have to overreact that much. You can react realistically. Right, he's gonna react a little bit. I do that, it comes up. Okay, cool. Now, this is here, you're ready. Boom, come back down. But realistically, probably, in this situation, what I do, now I'm gonna double feint. Like, I'll come down here, boom. Yeah, see now, this is the good stuff, right? Now he's like, oh crap, I'm screwed. He's coming hip. So I come down here, right? Then I come back up, because he's like, oh no, he's coming hip. Then I'm gonna go back and he's like, oh crap, he's going back. And then, right, it's the last one that gets him, because he's gonna react. People react worse to the second feint than the first one. Because they're like, oh shit, I got really faked out. And then that's when you get on the second. Boom, boom. Boom. But look, nothing moves that far. It's just the elbow. So all that, apply pressure, right? Elbow in, here, foot goes out. We applied our pressure, elbow comes in, we raise up, and then we go out. And again, this has to get outside of here, right? So that first applied pressure here, step, that helps to bring us over here. You might not let that happen right away, so we step out here. Now he thinks we haven't, but because of where he put his board and all that, now we're good. So we act like we might reach for it, come back out. We can get hit because of where his elbow is. We got arm, that's fine. We just follow up and hit him in the leg. Right? Y'all feel what I'm saying though? Like, that's pretty much how the very kind of safe, without it being AK-47 combo swords, I just straight on swords. AK-47 opens.
There's 2 versions.
Yeah, no, there's the left side and the right side. Yeah, we'll talk about both. But before that, I want to let Morpheus show you his favorite version of sword type. It's much deeper. I don't know if I should call it the favorite, but it's what you would know. Yeah, yeah. This one actually is money. So yeah. Leroy. Yeah. Rest in peace.
I owe the guy a lot of money. So a money shot is it's funny because I feel like the money shot's easier to throw compared to the shot that James here likes to throw, which is more of a safer chop, a tighter, a lot more tighter first wrap, but mostly chop. I think there's a harder learning curve with this one, but it creates way more consistent results. Way more consistent, like whatever. The money shot, because everyone's so used to, I'm gonna use it. Everyone's kind of used to the money shot, right? This big, whatever shot. So consistency is just not as crisp as it could be. And I think there's less emphasis on more discipline, like defense and movement when it comes to throwing a money as opposed to the way James throws short side. But the short and sweet of a money shot, stepping offline, I would suggest like a step here, like that. The big lunge is not what we're trying to teach here, right? Because that puts you in a real bad position. You're really committed to that shot. It's not necessarily what we're going for you. So, having a foot cramp right now. So it's a side. So it's a step off center line, and you're applying pressure to sidestep and some sort of pump or something with your sword and keep your opponent guessing that you're going high, right? And the movement to step, all this kind of comes into play to imply that pressure that you're going high here, right? Going high there. And then you're just here, and you're dropping this, not like that, dropping, and then you're popping through, and you're falling through that shot. You're not, call it snapshotting your progress. Don't do that. Did it hit? You don't want to do that. You want to follow through. You want to get out and get back in position. That's the biggest thing you want to do. But for the most part, right, and you're following through. Get back in the guard.
What are you doing to get out? Are you just power hit so hard you come through?
So here, and then I'm kind of swinging my arm out. Okay, and back into it. Thank you. So that's really the biggest thing. Is just keep in mind, get back into my guard. Right. Going high cross. Don't get trapped. Get back. Oh, shoulder. Get back in. Whatever your guard is.
Your guard should be your elbow right by your hip. I told you. So, one is more all in than the other. I will tell you, I used to say that things were wrong and right. There's not really a wrong and a right. There's times for every tool in the toolbox, and we taught you that because it's a tool in the toolbox. And there could be some nice young ladies on the sideline that you want to throw something that looks really, really freaking pretty for, and that's an option for looking really pretty. And we'll give you some other ones. But if you got something, pull it out, use it at the right times. Another one, they might have their shield in a bad place, and you can lane it. There's all kinds of reasons why you might pull a tool out of the toolbox. I will tell you, my own way of fighting is very, 89.9% of the time, I made that number up, it's very optimal and very tight and protected, but then I'll throw backspins and crazy horses and wind lobes and so I have for my own stuff that's not optimal and protected and pretty as well. So it is what it is. But you have both of those. we'll work on those. I will also show you AK-47 just so y'all know that too, so we can work on a couple things with each other when we break out. Okay? We'll use someone else to demo so you're not always getting beat on. Who else wants to demo real quick for me? Okay, so AK-47. Pretty much the same kind of thing as far as implied pressure goes. And remember, this implied pressure thing that I'm telling y'all, I don't know if anyone else really talks to y'all about that. I don't know that. Have you ever heard anyone else bring that up in classes? Yeah, I mean, I even forget to bring it up in a lot of my classes, but I know it's a tool I use all the time. I just don't bring it up enough. But I definitely use it all the time in fights. Like, if you fight me, you felt it because I do it all the time, every single freaking fight. But anyway, the implied pressure is pretty much the same, just depending on what you're doing. Like, you touch. Okay, I'm gonna definitely imply pressure because it's a combo shot. I want them to know it's coming. Like, it's no secret what I'm gonna do. So I apply pressure here, right? Okay. And again, we keep everything tight. And this is where people make the mistake with the AK-47 all the damn time. This is one of those things where you're not really trying to kill them with the opener, but you're not gonna expose yourself with the opener either. So you're never gonna go, oh, I'm throwing AK-47, so I'm gonna go, wha-bam, with my opener, right? Like, look at how exposed that puts me, right? Like, I'm gonna get destroyed, my arm's gonna be all in bad situations. Like, I would never ever do that for AK-47. Like, it's not worth it. You're better off just throwing it the way I told you without throwing an opener, a combo at all, right? So, you get here in this good space, you can step in, and when your left foot hits, this is optional, but I like to kind of do it this way. As soon as my left foot gets in range where I know I can just touch the edge of his shield with the tip of my sword without overextending. All those things are important. Without overextending, left foot's in range, tip of the sword, edge of the shield, right? All those data points are important, right? We got it? And next data point that's important, right foot basically at the edge of the shield. Before we go into our launch point or our step in point, we want all those things to be true. So we'll tap, I'll start kind of applying pressure, and I'm trying to get to this space. And right about here is where I'll take that step forward and want to come up. Right when I feel like, see where my foot is? Right about here, where my back foot is. Right about here is where I would then, okay, now I can go ahead and open. But I have to step in. I'm not gonna go, I gotta step in with my left foot. So I get into this space here. Notice how my elbow's still nice and tucked, my hands tucked away. Get right here, step in. Look, and I even cheated it a little bit, right? My right foot still moved to touch, out. My left foot circle, step in. See that? Like, watch this footwork's important. Here and here. And then, see, edge, just the tip to the edge. Notice where my hand is, and notice where it isn't. It's not here, it's there, okay? Because a lot of things can happen in this open, and it might not end in AK-47. It might end in something completely different. But I'm gonna teach you AK-47. Here, boom, okay? Our back foot is here. But we circle step to here, and we cheated our back foot again right to there, okay? All those things happened. We're kind of step, boom. Here, our foot set up, get that open. What do you think he's like to do when we've applied that thread and we opened it a shield and we just stepped here? What do you think you're gonna do? Yeah, he might do that, that's fine. Now, we step here. What do you think you're gonna do now when I step here? What's coming? Yeah, that's fine. Right? We're gonna step again, right? We step to the edge of his shield, we step again. Remember what I told you about stepping outside of their, if we can get our foot outside of this, then we're where we want to be. But we had to get our foot set up before we went to the launch point, because we can't put ourselves in a bad situation. When I told you about not getting outside of our stance, the way you get yourself outside of your stance is by trying to overstep, by not being at the right launch point in the first place. Because if I was here, right? And I try to do it like I'm in the middle of a shield, and I try to get all the way over to here. Now look where I'm at. This is where I'm in like, one, I'm very uncomfortable, right? And now I'm throwing all in shots, and I'm hoping that I hit something. And because if I don't, I'm screwed. Like, I can't bail out of the situation that I'm in. I have to like do that spray and pray thing that I just got done telling y'all not to do, right? Whereas if I do it properly, if I miss, then I'm okay, right? And that's what you want, is if you miss, to be okay. So, again, get here, we get right to about here, we tap, right, we're here, we're applying threat, we're moving, it's fine. So notice how my back foot's dragging, so I'm feeling it. Come in here, one more, oh, okay, that's fine. Now, we got it pre-lined up here. We're all right. Now take one more. He even adjusted to it. That's okay, because he didn't adjust enough. Now we're all right. So we step in, boom. Right here is already like, that's fine. Now we step out. Okay, here. It's good. Come in here. Where he's at now, I would just do that. That's the other thing, is when you throw that open, don't go, I have to throw AK-47. That's what I told you. It might not be AK-47. People wanted nice safe opens. We were talking about nice safe opens. That edge to the shield, not craziness. Just to check, because double board sight comes from there, right? All kinds of good stuff comes from that open to that, just that boom. This stays tucked. It goes here, like here. He does that. Good at the, yeah. That spot, that comes from there. Here, does that, that comes from there. That cross that you like to do that's terrible, that's the good version of it. Right? That's the good version of it, where you thought something through and you did something better than just throwing nonsense. Right? He threw into you and then you crossed into his own. That's a much better version of what y'all were trying to accomplish with that. Cross open, and then y'all get into this high cross battle that makes me want to throw my shield across the field. Yeah. Bobby Knight style, if y'all remember that. He did a chair though. He did a chair, but yeah.
He did like the whole side.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah. So, all right. Y'all have 3 shots. We demonstrated them. Hopefully good enough y'all can remember them. Practice. We'll walk through, help you get them down. All right? We good? Okay, cool.
So I have a question back here. So I think one of my issues when I'm throwing it, I'm just trying to come pretty good at throwing it, but I think what I noticed what you were doing there is you kept stepping till it's open and then threw it.
Yeah.
So I guess it's not really a question, maybe it's a comment. I think that's potentially my issue, is I'm just trying to force this shot rather than continuing to push presence on this off step.
Yeah. Remember, like, the important part is getting this foot outside of their board, outside of their defense. If it's not there, I mean, there's nothing wrong with not throwing a shot if it's not there. Like, you went to set it up, it didn't come open, bail out and try to set it up again another time. Like, don't throw the shot that's not there. Don't force it. It will come open eventually, or another opportunity will present itself. If you force it, you'll just end up in a bad situation. It's not worth it. Like, defense first. Defense first always. Defense first always. The way you win is to not get hit first. Then you can hit people. Cool? Go ahead, practice those, and we'll walk through it.
You'll get like 10 minutes.
Okay, cool. We got 10 minutes, so.
shot.
Slashing.
Yeah, so.
Arm and leg.
So.
Oh,
Yeah.
How was that?
got it. Yeah, okay. So it's a flick of this, that backhand grab.
Yeah, so as opposed to this one.
Good.
And this something you're not going to go Sure. There's a little bit of that, but there's less of this. Yeah, like way down here.
This is going to obviously go a lot deeper. I just keep it versus the one.
All right, bring it in.
Yeah, you're just kind of
Now we got like 10 minutes. I'm here all week still.
Still forward the ball.
Of course, yeah.
All right. One more thing, just because I kind of already showed you guys, but double board sides. Basically off that same setup, off this right here. Right? We applied this thread, came here, right? Now we'll step out here, right? If he does that, then I'm just gonna come right over here. He's just giving me, he's like, oh, just kill me now, right? If he does that, one, he's playing, don't do that, by the way. Like you just dug in. Yeah, you gotta stay, yeah, don't do that. But like, double board side, come here, right? Now we come here, over the top, right? That's double board side, okay? It's just from that same space, you just go. But remember I told you we don't throw high, we throw around. So for you, this is real good because you don't have to, like, you're gonna throw around, like you're gonna hit them over here on this side. Like it'll be beautiful. But it's just step outside their shield and hit them again. So what that does is it gives you, this is a target and that is a target. And when I told you what they do with their shield, that's 100% what's important. Based on your implied threat and your pressure, your movement, remember the grind and making better decisions?
Yes.
This is 100% that. When you're in this space and what they do with their shield, all the time you're watching just a little, the key to everything is what they do with this, and it's this much space. You don't need, like people throw these ginormous fakes and they want people to do crazy, big, stupid, no one good is doing that. Like, yeah, I can make terrible people do stupid things with their shield. Sometimes I can make good people do stupid things with their shield because I have good fakes, but you don't need that. You need this. You need this much space. For these shots to land, you only need this much space. Like, you literally need, if I come in here and he does that, like, that's all I need. I only need him to do that for the decision to be made. Like, he doesn't know that he's already dead, but he is. Like, because he reacted in that way, right? Because what's going to happen based on what he just did, what's going to happen is he did that, right? So I'm going to come down here, I'm going to fake like this, and I'm going to go up like that. He's going to chop down on my hand. I'm going to come across and I'm going to hit him in the shoulder. Boom, done. There's the whole fight, right? But I knew that based on the open. I mean, granted, I've been doing this since '89 too, but like you have to have it in your database, what they do with their feet, what they do with their shield. Kind of, I watched him fight a bit and seen how he, right? But I told you earlier too, this kind of stuff, like maybe before too, like just understand when you fight how to build your repertoire. And this is maybe the outside of like moving your feet more and make good decisions, not bad decisions. All the time, bring good decision making into the fight. Anytime you're going to leave your protected shell, do it for a reason. Think it through first. Be patient, and that's the last thing I super want to stress. And he'll have some stuff to stress here in a second too. But like, man, patience is the most important thing. You will never see me not be patient in a fight. I'm a very, very patient fighter. there's no reason to hurry. Like, we got all kinds of time to have the conversation. We don't need to rush it. Don't need to rush it. Go ahead. Got no closing thoughts? I thought you'd have some closing thoughts.
So one thing I do want to emphasize is when he's talking about these openers or jabs or whatever you want to call it, these like just little safe shots or whatever, you want to make sure you're throwing them with intention. I've seen this a lot. It's not just lots of people, just good fighters do this. Where the jab is that. It's not, it doesn't look like a shot. That looks like a shot. That looks like I want to throw something. And if they step like that, I'll talk about a shot that I like to do. And come out based off of the idea of positioning and attacking my opponent when they're in a position that's advantageous for me, but I'm also safe. So for me, a shot that I like to throw is maybe I'll throw this jab here, right? And all this looks open. Well, I want them to step this way because it gives a shot that I like to throw at that angle, which is like under uppercut thing. And yeah. No, you're fine. But
you can see the shot.
Yeah, no, you're fine. So I can throw tight jabs here. Step that way. Throw that. Throw an ash wrap or whatever. Or I throw a jab up here, or apply pressure on this side. I start stepping over here because this looks like the shot's open. And I'll throw this, see like that. That's all typically what I want. It's just a little side step on my side. That's it. And my hand's already here. I'm just coming over here when they step this way because of water and probably pressure. So, yeah. That was mostly a bit of yapping, but I will just keep in mind, throw those jabs with intention. Don't just kind of like throw them or whatever. Like make it look like a shot. A rule of thumb that I like is to hit people about this much if I'm throwing a jab. Like blow your tip off, but yeah, we want to hit him about this much because this isn't super committed, right? If I want to throw a jab, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna throw a jab. I mean, that's a shot. You know? But if I'm trying to set them up or build the fight more off of the jab, I'm throwing here, step it in, I'm putting a lot of intention to this looks like I want to throw. No, just trying to see what you do. And as you develop as a fighter, you start building up your own library of shots that go through different combos and different flow depending on you. That's something that you guys have to figure out, right? So if a lot of people like to throw this shot here, just across or whatever, then you can start building up like the AK-47. He talked about the board side version, taught me the sword side version. But that one is jab.
You win.
So this one, palm center line. Just jab here, right? I'm stepping this way. Look at that, right? And when I was starting to throw at this quadrant, I just threw that one. Like the hand's already kind of it's already in the spot here to go down there. Just as a practice tool, that's how I personally did it. You have to find your way, whether it's lapel, maybe it's the there. But that's how I developed it. It worked out. So Yeah, just little jabs here, boom, and then once you start building up more things, maybe you start throwing up shoulder wrap, right? So, maybe your jab is this. Maybe eventually you're throwing a double. Maybe it's an ass wrap now.
That's fantastic.
And once you start building that library of shots, which again, all very individualized, in the chaos of a fight, now you start that jab, maybe you throw across here, right? Maybe here, boom. Well, now it's a sword tight hip. You know, maybe they don't do anything, so you just go for the shoulder. So just keep that in mind as you build this. You're throwing that jab, boom. It's not just, you know, it doesn't even have to just be here, right? Like, it can just be that. I can here. My hand's right here. If I throw like that, that's, yeah. That step, you're covering your guard, you're covering your arm. You're not overextending with it. Just there. They don't do anything, okay, cool. Then you go back under. Then you just build on that. But just keep that in mind.
Questions? Yeah.
That's the thing.
Got 3 good shots left.
From somewhere from the shoulder all the way down to the opposite hand. How do you manage, like, not having it caught in like a sword?
So, are you saying, how do you go from all the way over here, all the way over here, and vice versa?
Yeah.
Some of that's kind of where your arm is, like James here, versus Dalos here will keep his elbow pretty tight in until like maybe it's the time to commit. For the most part, he keeps it pretty tight because when they're able to open up and whatever. Try to explain your shot. Like,
go ahead.
But
you're doing great.
There's never full commitment, right? So yeah, it would be harder if I then try to go over. That takes too much time. But if you're tight with it, you know, my arm did not move really past where my board would be. So here, I'm moving to get those better angles. Just kind of blocking those when you're long, like good block.
I was ready for it.
So it's just not overextending that arm. It's just watching the feet to get those deeper
And when you find yourself in a situation where you're reaching and you know it, you'll know it. When you find yourself in that situation where you're just like, you know, you're doing this crap, it's time to get the hell out of that situation. Like you have to like just bail out of that. And you, like I said, you'll feel it. You'll know, like, I'm just hoping that I hit something in this. And if you haven't compromised your stance in your defense, just get out of there. Reset it. Find yourself a better situation. So, let's see. We wanted basics. We covered it. We wanted in the grind. We covered it. We wanted. What else do we want? Openers. We covered it. What else do we want? We cover everyone's thing. I think so, right? Dark side. We definitely covered that. We got a lot of sword side hip. In fact, we didn't even get to a lot of other shots. We didn't get to the spins and all that. But what else? Did we not cover some of this thing? We got everyone's stuff, right? Everyone's stuff got covered. All right.
I might put a little more emphasis on the dark side stuff.
Yeah. Is there anything else while y'all have me that you would really like to see? When I get 30, I can start. 512?
Most basic spin you suggest.
The 512 is the most basic spin. Well, maybe the backspin's more basic, but I think the 512 is probably easier.
Okay.
Okay. So the 512, which I named it that. It's not the facings on
Area code?
clock, it's my area code, yes. Isaac and Eric were the ones who thought it was like, they were trying to like figure out, why is it 5-1? They were like, thought it was the clock, and they were trying to figure out like, is it a hand position thing? And it was, it's just that asshole's area code. Yeah, but anyway, we have taught this very many times, but we'll go over it again. You can find it on my YouTube channel too, just in case. But the most simple way to set this one up, again, it's an applied pressure. We want to apply pressure on that board side space. Okay. I used to do it with a like a down, right? Almost maybe hip or down stab, underboard stab, and then I come high. So remember I told you all about that double fake. So we tap, boom. I might move like in a weird kind of like left step thing, which normally I'm always stepping right. Maybe I'd apply some pressure over here, then I'd like randomly step here, and then it was like I come here, and she would. Remember I told you everything's about what did his feet do and what did his board do. Like we planted right here, right? This is perfect. Like he thinks that he's good at this fitness right now, but already like this is bad, and that's real bad. Like for what I'm trying to do, all this is terrible for him.
I did that,
but he doesn't know that. At this point, I already know this is a done deal. Remember I told you read the fight based on what happens in this whole situation? I mean, I could fuck it up, but this is exactly what it is. Once this happens, that foot plants, and that board comes into this space, you're golden. So here, now, we're gonna take this step, and I told you all about like, everything looks like we're gonna do things way over here. So we come up, and our presence rises, and we go, aha, yes, right? Now, we're here, we could just make it easier. That's not pretty enough. The ladies are over there now, they're watching. So we're here, we come here, we raise, our elbow still stays tight, our hand drops down here. If you want to, your board can come back here, I usually do, just because we're about to spin. Boom, out. My foot stayed in place, didn't do a lot of craziness, so it's really just I kind of step left in, and drop down into almost like a stab fake. I use my body to go low, I step out towards the board, my body comes high, I drop down, spin out, step out. The easiest way, the easiest spin, foot stays, look, spin out, move. There's ways to spin through, spin out, spin left, spin right, but that's like the easiest, most basic way to do it. Yep. And again, like when you see their board like this. And then all he did was hunch down, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's a wrap. As long as you don't mess up, it's a wrap at that point.
Also, the whole thing about being how do you get to another location quickly or whatever? The way he's throwing it, it's so tight. And, you know. But, down there, right? Let's say you don't buy this, whatever thing, you just say, oh, here it comes. And if you do that, commit to it, just like that. Come back around, you can go back in. So just a cool little thing.
My mind's never made up to go, right? It's just like the flow of the fight. Like the grind, like you're talking about. Like I'm like, okay, I'm feeling it. The shield did this. Oh, I know what that looks like. Oh, nope. It looks like that now. You know, until I like see how everything goes, I just flow. Like everything's in that space when you zone in and you lock in. Oh, meditation. Meditation. Like, you know, there's telling and there's fighting, and then you know that your mind doesn't know if you're fighting for real or if you're just fighting in your mind, but your mind's a muscle too. Guess how many times you can fight in your mind?
Fuck ton.
As many as you fucking want to. Thousands and thousands and thousands. I have fought Arthon in my mind a million fucking times. And I fought him for real thousands and thousands and thousands of times. But that's my brother, that's my sparring partner. Like, me and him have been going at it since 1980 fucking 9. We've been throwing down. And, you know, he was my first, you know, like, mountain to climb. He beat the living shit out of me all the fucking time. And he's the first one I looked in his fucking eyes, and I'm like, one day, motherfucker. One day. And it took years. Because, I mean, people call him the GOAT for a fucking reason. He's a destroyer. But I'm like, you ain't always gonna be better than me. And I mean, it took a long time, but it happened. It happened. But, you know, in my mind, I would spend tons of time like, just going over fights. How does that fight go? Why does it go like that? Boom, 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 boom. And I like every piece of it, the footwork, the interactions, how he threw, how I threw. AK-47 stands for Arthon Killer 47. I invented that shot specifically to counter the shit that he did. That's why that shot came into being. Like, that combo is to counter him. That's what it was first made for.
I guess that makes sense too.
Yeah, think about what he does. Yes, that's why it was made, right? But, I mean, in your mind, you can fight, and I told you, you fight the same people all the time, so you have a good memory bank of them to fight them. And remember, they're all archetypes for other people anyway, right? So, when you're sitting around doing nothing, or you're gonna meditate anyway, meditation's good for you regardless. You don't have to be completely quiet. Right, your mind can be working some. I think you should spend at least 5 minutes doing nothing in meditation, let your mind like relax and rejuvenate, but then spend another 10 minutes fight in your mind. Let your mind like build those muscles, those neural pathways I'm talking about, where you can see that twitch of the shield means, oh, that's a wrap. I've seen this before. And then people are like, D, you're 49, but you're so damn fast. Yeah, maybe I have quick hands, I don't know. But I promise you, I know what's gonna happen in that fight well before you do. Because my mind's done it so many times.
Let me emphasize, there are athletes who are getting paid millions and millions of dollars, like sponsorships, deals, everything's on the line just for that extra little bit of advantage in that big game. I think even LeBron James needs to like preach this too. I'm pretty sure I have to listen to some stuff. All these dudes also meditate. They also work on mindfulness and being present. All that just encompasses to like meditation. It's good stuff, but these dudes are making money doing it. They're doing it. There's something there. So there's just something.
Yeah, it's very good for you too. Yeah, it's definitely. Yes, sir.
Do you have I guess I'm talking about like bringing these things home. Do you have recommendations for like ways to proactively meditate?
So there's a lot of stuff on YouTube. There's guided meditations you can do that you can 10-minute video on YouTube that you can just jam out, listen to. You know?
And even like bringing fights into that too.
I think working on the meditation and incorporating that into fighting, I think that goes into call it image training. I don't know what you call it, but basically what James is what Dalos is talking about here, where you're thinking about the fights, and like especially if it's your sparring partners, is probably the best thing because you're used to the stuff that you do, right? So if I'm thinking about how I'm fighting Lily, then like, you know, how I'm thinking about how do we usually square up? What's his usual openers against him? What's my openers against him? What thing am I trying to accomplish? Sometimes I would sometimes I would even think about just losing. Like, nah, I just got smoked by that. Let's just like think about that. Boom, bop. Okay, hit me there. Boom, bop. And just like keep that in my head and think about ways to deal with that situation differently, or counter differently. Even towards like a tournament day or whatever. You know, you think about the people you have to fight, people you have to deal with. You just kind of think about. I like thinking about two outcomes. That's taking the loss, just so I can help with the nerves get out of your system. Like, yeah, I just lost this guy like 1,000 times.
You say like
in my head, right?
Scouting like somebody that you're gonna fight in the future, like looking at how they fight for.
You can watch video on him.
Video, yeah.
You know, watch video on him and then put yourself in the fight. Like I told you, like I fought Arthon thousands of times in my head, and then, you know, I would never lose in my head. That would be stupid. You should always win in your head. Like 100% of the time, I won all those fights, right? Like 100% of the time, like that's just building. Winning is a habit. Like Vince Lombardi said that. So is losing, by the way. So you have to build. Your mind has to build a habit of winning. So you should always win the fights in your head. But you have to build those pathways. Like, how do I win? You can't just be like, aha, I beat him. That's great. No, you have to build the pathways. What's the path to success? How would I beat him? You got to figure it out. That's how AK-47 came about. Like, if I'm gonna beat him, like, how would I do it? Oh, he does this. So where's the weaknesses? I got to figure out how I can make that happen. Boom, 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 and then you build these pathways. Right? Everyone you fight, you start building past the victory, and then in your head, you build it, and then when you go fight him, you see if it works or not, and then you go back to the lab, in your head you build it, and then when you go fight him, you see if it works or not. Like all the time, you're doing that, and then you start finding, one, you're just faster in general because you're already predicting.
Yeah.
Like your brain's already predicting what they'll do because like, oh, we've seen this. And again, your brain doesn't know if it's real or not. Like it's just like, oh yeah, we're doing this. We've done this lots, right? Like it's good. And then you're just building, like I said, past the success. What else? Oh, Headspace is a good meditation app. Also, iPhone. If you have an iPhone, their built-in meditation stuff. I think it's just called mindfulness or something like that. It's very good too.
So there's an app called Calm. That's a guided meditation app, and then there's Headspace, which also a guided meditation app. If you want the full package, it's like $13 a month or whatever, but it's worth it for sure. Or just go on YouTube. You know, it's just that the apps will keep track of your progress, so it's a little easier to be involved with that and be engaged with that one. Kind of follow how many hours you've done or whatever. I mean, I haven't met you in a while, but I think I got a full day's worth of meditation. It's like 5 hours.
They have sports training specific things in Headspace to help you be more focused on being a better athlete, being calmer at work. They have all kinds of different things in Headspace that for different kinds deal with stress, all kinds of stuff like that. So Headspace is very good.
Yeah. Helped me a ton.
What else?
Show us a little bit of the dark side of your stuff.
Yeah. So it's been a bit. So what was your question about the dark side?
I just want to work on how to do it correctly because I feel like whenever I do it, it's
well, if you want to, if you like that genre, crossing, whatever, the way you get it is fine, but you want to watch it. So I think there's a couple ways to go to the dark side. If I want to hit them here, I'm baiting this, throwing it like this for my shield's table. I'm kind of throwing this at about mid-range. I want them to reach. I'm taking this step here.
okay.
You know, to hit them. Trying to get this over the best. If I'm not changing where I am positionally as well, then I haven't really made a whole lot of progress. At the end of the day, this is also this is a compromise. You could very well just throw this here. Let's say you throw, bro. I can stretch here. I can very well just this guy too. It doesn't have to be that. I mean, I can just here, throw, here, not hit the arm.
Yeah.
I got lots of options. If you want to throw a dark side, then whatever bait or whatever you throw, and just take the side step here.
Okay.
And then load it here. Throw it here.
Take down your opponent first. Stop doing it.
I like that one too. Throw a range, I'm going to throw it like that. If you throw it like this, that's not going to keep anything from over here. And this side would be I was nervous. I was like,
I've
man,
heard
nobody,
from like
nobody wants to
out
take
of
this
context,
fast.
like saying to throw more down instead of across.
Yeah. So if you're throwing it more, I wouldn't throw it down. I wouldn't. Okay, I personally.
Yeah.
Better option. You're very easily punished when you throw it like this. Because one, my optimization is just like flat. Maybe I can get the arm, but you're stepping in and into me. Like you don't throw a shot, you step in. Well, no, stop, right? Yeah. Come back around, walk back, come back around. I'm probably gonna get to it. I think you wanna maybe you're rolling the arm down, like kind of like a back end.
Okay.
So maybe I'm going like that.
Yeah.
As opposed to flash. Yeah.
Okay.
If you can throw it like that, but again, the biggest thing is taking the side step. You want some sort of positional safety if you're gonna throw it.
Elicit a response. Like come back.
Yeah, and if you want tailored, you mostly want tailored dark side.
Can Vance then take my spot?
In your body. If I know what he's gonna look at like that. Yeah. He's gonna smart. You know, I know that. But every fighting side, they roll up on this field. Go like this. I mean, this looks like they're ready to cross, right? Especially like that, right? Like this. This is perfect. This is high cross syndrome.
Yeah.
Then someone rolls up and tries to do that. I want the dark side. Well, I give him a little bit of that, right? Maybe number 2 is up to hit them here. Yeah. I'm just rolling my arm and then from the board here. And that's how I'm doing it. So it's just faint flow. All of my arms right here. Cool. Right here, my arms in position just to pop. That's all. I'm not doing anything crazy. It's just like I'm already halfway there. Yeah, that's a throw.
So you could like do that without even.
Well, you'll probably get hit, but yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, big throw.
Yeah.
And he's like, basically like.
At least we covered it. You asked for it, so.
That's why.
Yes. Any more questions? Hopefully y'all got useful things out of the class. I really, like I said, I really like the 6 people classes because it, like, I mean, we lectured quite a bit, but it was stuff that y'all wanted. I didn't have to sit here and go, oh, and here's this, and here's that, and here's this. It was more like focused around more specific stuff. Really catered to y'all. I didn't talk about 3 or 4 things I would normally kind of talk about, but I also feel like they would have been, not that they wouldn't have been useful to y'all, but you know, you can go watch the videos if you want to. Like, this was, I think, more custom to what you guys can go home and take and use like right away. So, and the footwork stuff we went kind of really maybe more deeper into footwork than I have gone to, and why it's useful and what it's used for. And the implied pressure, I definitely went deeper than I've gone over with anybody on that stuff. So, and how it works and what it means, like that's the most I've covered on that for any class. So I kind of like how that went. Implied pressure is very important, and it's, I think about it, but I don't really think a ton about it when I'm talking about it sometimes. So, anyway, hopefully y'all found it useful. I'm here all weekend. If y'all need anything, come let me know. And maybe I'll see some of y'all at Comeback. But you guys go eat. Thanks for coming. Appreciate it.
Thank you.